Hello, my beloveds. It's Chrissy here, and I just thought I'd make a quick video to answer a question that one of you sent me because I thought we could all benefit from it instead of just replying individually. So here we go. So the question that I was asked is, how can you better protect yourself, enforce boundaries, guard your energy whenever you're around someone that is perpetually throwing their energy at you and it's not one that you really enjoy? So we could say in this specific instance, it's a partner in a relationship and they're getting triggered by something that doesn't partner us who are on this journey, which is a beautiful thing. However, it triggers that person so much and they lean on this individual so much that it's starting to kind of infiltrate over and starting to take on some of that energy. And now some of their fears are showing up into our lives, right? Very common thing. I think we can all really relate to this, which is why I thought I'd do a little video instead. So typical before 2020, up until now, we would follow some kind of rule that says you need to protect your energy, guard your energy, put up a shield, block yourself from taking on negative energy, and be able to reflect that other energy back out there into the world so you don't end up absorbing it all. While, yes, that can be a helpful technique, now it is time for us to evolve and step into a different way of approaching it. Now, whenever we are inundated with somebody else's energy, it is for us to understand that, yes, perhaps there are places where we need to use our voice more. Perhaps there are places that we need to speak up and communicate more effectively. I'll touch on that in a minute. But it's not necessarily a time where we have to protect ourselves because we're evolving past this idea that there's them and us, and we are moving into the place of understanding there's only ever one of us. And whoever it is that we're interacting with is just an extension of ourselves. And by extension of ourselves, I don't mean necessarily a spitting image, mirror reflection showing you exactly how you do things. What I mean by that is that it's the extension of us that has popped up in our life to do whatever it is that it's doing for us to feel whatever it is that's coming up. And we're used to managing that thing that's coming up by putting a shield and protecting ourselves and saying, no, that's theirs, it's not ours. Then it may be time to evolve beyond that, to say, even though I can see that this energy is being projected from this other person, I'm going to use it as an opportunity to see where I can up-level my own personal integrity. Where can I live more fully into the traits that I do not see this person embodying and living into? And how can I pause just a moment? I'm going to pause the recording and start back up. Okay, how can I shift some of my behaviors that are allowing this other person to remain out of integrity? So yes, that might look like what we would typically call having boundaries in place and speaking up for yourself and using your voice to articulate what it is that you need and you're willing to deal with and that sort of thing. But it's also going to be quite different if you have a different conversation. If you come from the place of when you are sharing your fears and worries with me, which is exactly what I want you to do because I am your trusted space to do that. I cannot help but start to feel overwhelmed by them. I start to feel like it's my responsibility to manage them. I start to feel like maybe there's something I can do to alleviate you. And most importantly, I get confused over seeing the fact that there isn't a right or wrong way of doing life. And when that person, now you wouldn't say this to them necessarily, but when that person is displaying this fear that you think that you're transcending and getting beyond, we kind of panic because it's like, what if I take that on? What if I digress? What if I backslide? What if I go back to how things were? What if I let their energy affect me? But this isn't a going backward situation. This is a moving forward situation. So when it shows up, it is not saying, hey, you have more stuff to clear. It's saying, hey, you have different stuff to clear. So maybe you don't need to anchor yourself into the fear that is getting triggered, that this other person is getting triggered by, but you can anchor yourself into your own energy of knowing that nothing needs to be different in order for you to have peace of mind. Nothing needs to change in order for you to be wholly connected and protected and supported just by the innate design of what we're doing here. So yes, think about ways that you can speak up and use your voice. Like I think to myself often, if this is the way that it was always going to be, like if they're never going to change, I'm never going to live anywhere else, this is just what we have to deal with. What would I do differently from there? And chances are I would shift the way that I'm seeing myself in the situation, change the narrative inside my own mind from being the victim of this other person who is using me as a dumping ground or throwing their energy in my direction, and instead use it as an opportunity to, instead of lean away from it, lean towards it, asking different questions. Tell me more about what experience you've had that have led you to this fear, to this worry, to this concern. I typically want to move away from this, but I feel like it's just perpetuating the situation. And start to lean into it, because there's something that your ego is pushing you out of it and trying to keep you safe from, which in the old way of thinking is because they're negative and toxic and you need to keep yourself clean and pristine. But if we aren't dealing with two different sides and we're only dealing with one thing, which is divinity expressed, could the divine be inviting you into a different conversation than protect yourself, watch out, red flag here? Now, there may be protect yourself, watch out, red flag, but you'll find that through that other line of communication, and let it be the other person who articulates that to you before you're assuming that that's what's going to go on. We send so much information telepathically with our thoughts and our concerns and our story making that goes inside of our head. It's so easy to empath over that energy and start to make presumptions and assumptions. But I would love to extend to you the perspective, not just of fortifying yourself and keeping you protected, but fortifying yourself internally, so that as you are dealing with whatever comes your way, that sturdiness comes from the inside out instead of this thing that's keeping you safe from the outside in. And I got to say this too. Sometimes when life just gets too overwhelming and my partner's throwing too much heaviness at me, and it's just at a time where I just can't take on anymore right then, or I'm not able to transmute it quite as fast as it seems to be coming to me, or I'm just not in the mood for it, or whatever else comes around with that, then I have been known to say out loud in a space outside of earshot, I will just say, I am now in a bubble of, I don't say bubble, I use the word shield. I have a shield around me, and I cannot be seen by anyone other than those that have my highest intention and are willing to see the best of me. And I state that out loud, and I ask for whatever it is that I want to be engaged with. And if they do not bring that, I will not exist in their space. Might sound a little kooky, but it works 100% of the time. After I declare that, every single time, the energy is different. Every single time. Maybe it just shifts my storytelling. Maybe it changes something in the cosmos. Maybe it's just the next line that I was cued to say because I can't get this wrong. I don't know. But try those techniques out. Challenge yourself to move past this. There's this thing I need to protect myself from, and something I need to keep myself safe from, and let that veil dissolve. Let that fall away, and lean into those people that you are typically leaning away from, because as you lean into it, you're going to evolve your ego. You absolutely are going to evolve your ego. If this was helpful, I want to hear from you. If you got more questions, I want to hear from you. And I love y'all. And if you got other questions, keep them coming. And if you like this little quick video, let me know that too. I'll do more of them. Love you. Bye.